Welcome to the Great Blizzard of 2026, as seen in Journal Square in Jersey City, New Jersey.
Why did I pull you?
So you can see here, we're going to look down, and yeah, the stairs are not exactly clear. They're doing their best out here. The Journal Square path station, as well as the buildings around here, are trying to keep things clean, but it's coming down too hard, and I don't think there's a whole lot they could have done. Okay, just going to speed through a little bit of the walk through to my favorite place in the world, which is, of course, the Journal Square Taco Bell. As you can see again, stairs are in pretty rough shape, and to my grave disappointment, we are about to see that Taco Bell is in fact closed. It's on your right here. And here I paused for a second just to check the hours and confirm that they should have been open. They should have been, and they were not. And can you blame them?
Plans to run our normal.
So now we're going to go down into the actual station itself, and as you can see, just because there's a roof, just because this is a building and we're indoors, has not spared it from the icy breath of old man winter. Look at that. The walls of the escalator are covered in snow, and you can't really tell, but there is some snow graffiti in there as well.
If I get stuck on that express side, I'll be really good.
So I'm going to talk over this part because the guy behind me does cuss at me as I get off the elevator. Apparently I was not walking fast enough or something. I'm not sure. I was trying to keep to the right, but it's a community. We're trying to do our best for each other, right? And now we're going to head back upstairs, and the show is really going to begin. Look at these poor e-bikes, are absolutely covered in snow, even though they are under a roof.
This is under a roof, just to be clear. Like, whoops. This building has a roof.
So now we're back out trying to get down the street. As you can see, there are a few drivers trying to brave the storm. We'll see some more later on who have a much worse time than that white SUV did just there. But as you can see, it's still walkable in this part. They had been clearing the sidewalk in front of these buildings pretty regularly overnight, and so I'm getting along okay here. That's going to stop pretty shortly, but for now, enjoy this view for a second. So most of the well, not most, but a lot of the cars that I saw out there were cop cars and sheriff's officers trying to get through. I guess that's who really needs to be outside right now. Not me, and not most of these other people who are out here. But, you know, a lot of those out there, which kind of, it gets really difficult to see later on, and so actually having the cop lights around was a help. So here's the first time I realized that I was walking through like a serious snowdrift, and then I had to figure out how to get my camera mount to do this. But yeah, that's up to like my knee. This was, I mean, look at it's blowing upwards, right? Those cars are absolutely buried.
We're going to try and walk into the bike lane. Whew. There's the bike lane. At least somebody's trying to help out around here. Most everyone is just giving up.
So now we're down by St. Aidan's Church, and as you can see, all the gravestones covered in snow, and even if you look over here, the church bells are completely covered in the snow. Obviously not going to be ringing very loudly anytime soon because of just how violent the wind is and just how much the snow mutes everything, right? Look at the way the snow has fallen on some of these cars, right? Because of the wind, it's like shearing off. Shearing is not a word. I suppose you'd say that it's been shorn off the sides. It's very sharp looking. Right? Like, it looks like they've almost been carved out of marble. The snow has, anyway. I feel like I'm mixing my metaphors, and that didn't make a whole lot of sense, but I hope you see what I mean. It's really, really windy out, and it's affecting the way the snow is on the cars. This here is the absolute saddest part of the video. This car over here is, he's got the Uber blue sign anyway, and I don't know if you can hear the wheels rotating, but that is not getting anywhere. And you're probably thinking to yourself, well, why didn't you stop recording and try and help him? And the answer is, I'm not sure that there's anything that I could do for that person. I mean, I don't even know how you got into snow that deep, right? You need a professional at that point. And here, this is just to emphasize, like, that's how deep the snow is that he's caught in, and that I'm caught in at this point. So here again, I mean, just look at how deep some of these drifts are. And this is in front of somebody's house, right? Somebody's gonna have to dig all this out.
As you can see, the wind is really picking the winners and losers.
So what I meant by picking the winners and losers is that depending on where the wind was blowing, some of these houses had way bigger snow drifts than others. And it looked like they were pretty natural, although maybe people had plowed overnight more than others. So I turned left here, even though it's not really the way I'm supposed to be going, because I realized just how buried some of the cars on this street are. And you had, you see further up, there's a car in the middle of the road and some folks just walking in the street. So this seemed to be where the action was at. But I mean, look at how buried these cars are. My goodness. So here we see somebody trying to get out in a car. I'm not sure if they were stuck, if they were just trying to get through, but they had a little help from this guy who had been walking all the way up the street. So maybe you can tell by this point that my camera mount had died, and so I am just sort of free-handed here. So this is the point at which the going gets really tough, and you can tell because the lens starts to get really, really covered in snow. I tried to clear it a couple times, and it just doesn't get any better. The wind at this point is absolutely howling. The Weather Channel says it's about 45 to 55 mile an hour wind gusts, and it feels like it's just gusting constantly. But yeah, look, clear in the camera there. Okay, clear for a second, and then, yeah, we're right back where we started almost. At this point, things have gotten really bad. I actually can't see at this point, so just as I'm watching this back, this is the first time I've seen this. And I said that out loud while I was walking, but I'm pretty sure you can't hear it. Maybe you can. But yeah, I was shielding my face and looking to the side, just trying to keep making forward progress. I'm just going to skip through this because you really can't see anything here anyway. I'll stop it once I clear the camera off. So I made sort of like closing remarks here to the camera, but it's so windy and the microphone is so stuffed up that you can't hear it at all. So I turned off the audio here. But this is where I decided I had to put the camera down in order to get home safely. And luckily, I did. So I'm so grateful to be inside. Thank you very much for coming along with me on the Great Blizzard of 2026. My outdoor adventure was about 3 hours ago, and if anything, it's actually gotten worse outside. So if you've moved out of the Northeast, here's what you're missing. But I hope you enjoyed the visuals from this really incredible storm.